It looks like we have a canceled debt question.
Okay.
Someone wants to know, how does that affect your taxes? The
It's income.
cancellation of debt. It's a,
It depends on the type of income. Let's say you have a mortgage that you didn't pay. If it's a personal loan, like for your personal residence, then there's no offsetting thing. So like in the wake of the financial crash of '08, this was a huge problem where people were getting foreclosed on mortgages, they were getting this canceled debt income. And so they had to pass a special provision, which was basically a forgiveness. It was Form 982, if I remember right. And basically, you could say, okay, yes, I have this cancellation of debt, but also I lost my house, and that balanced out. And so there ended up being no net tax impact. Although I saw a lot of people who didn't do that correctly ended up paying taxes that they shouldn't have owed. Too late now at this point. If it's an investment property and you got foreclosed on and there's cancellation of debt, then there's a business loss, right? And so there's issues there with whether it's ordinary or capital, and it depends on the fact and circumstances. We actually had a client have to go through that many years ago, where we had to make the case that it's an ordinary loss that counteracts the ordinary income of the canceled debt rather than capital loss. It's a whole thing. And then if it's just like credit card debt, for example, then it's just income you have to pick up because you got the thing, whatever you bought with the credit card, so there's no offsetting loss. And then it's just pure income. There's another issue that a lot of times these banks take years to write off this stuff.
that's true.
It might be that you didn't pay a credit card 3 years ago, and only this year you're getting a 1099-C for it. And even if there was a corresponding loss, maybe it was back then and the carry forwards were such that you already used up the loss and now you have to pick up the income. So yeah, it gets hairy pretty quickly. Ideally, obviously, don't take out debt that you can't pay. But obviously, stuff happens. I get that.
Things happen.
But it can be very unpleasant from a tax perspective. But again, all depends on the circumstances, what happened when, and what kind of thing happened. So that all goes into whether it becomes a real problem tax-wise or not.
Right. And if it can get waived, right? Sometimes you can waive it.
Yeah, it depends on the issuer. Sometimes
Right.
sometimes as part of the settlement, they'll say, hey, you're not going to report this, you're not going to write this off as a cancellation of debt. And sometimes they will. Just depends.
Right. Definitely, it depends question, guys.
Very much it depends question.